everyone. My name is Lonnie Dizan. I'm the co-founder of Zenza Capital and the Rio Project out of Japan. Our mission is to bring crypto to the masses, and I really want to say hello to all of our guests from Japan. I've got over 40 people. We have over 40 people that flew in for this conference. It's our first time at Blockchain Futurist Conference.
Oh,
and
welcome.
So thank you and welcome to everybody here.
Nice. Pega, your turn.
Thanks. Well, great to welcome everyone from Japan. That's awesome. I am Pega Soltani. I am the head of our payments product at Ripple. And at Ripple, we build blockchain technology for institutions that let them store, tokenize, and move value.
Welcome. Shana, your turn.
My name is Shauna Durman. I'm the senior manager at Figment, senior manager for quality and integration. Figment is a blockchain infrastructure and staking provider, and I've been in the IT space for 30 years.
Silvina, are you here? Silvina? Paging Silvina? No, Silvina? Okay. When she comes, we have a chair for her right here, so she's not feeling left out. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm very excited to have you ladies here today. We have some really interesting questions for you, and I know the audience is going to want to hear from all your experience. So I'm going to get started with Shana. So one of the questions I get a lot, and I know you probably do too, are what are some essential skills and knowledge required to thrive as a leader in the Web3 space?
That's a great question. I would say having the fundamental knowledge of blockchain and Web3 is important, but problem solving is even more important, and knowing how to search for things. It's that ability to know where to find information. I mean, in the age of today, we do not have the excuse of we don't know where to find something.
Yeah.
There's so much free knowledge available. So knowing where to find things, but that basic understanding of Web3 and blockchain is important.
Okay. That's a very good one. And Pega, my friend, a question that I always get is, how do women leaders in Web3 drive innovation and foster a culture of innovation and creativity?
Yeah,
and I think this also applies to men, not just women, but I want to,
Yeah. And if you're not innovating in Web3, you probably shouldn't be in Web3. So it's a critical one. And I think a lot of it starts with diversity, because with diversity, you get different perspectives, backgrounds, experiences, and that always gets you to a better solution and outcome than you would otherwise. And when you have a diverse workforce, you need to make sure that they feel safe to take risks, that your environment is inclusive, and that they are free to say what they want to say. And people will look out at examples in your environment or company at what they can and can't do. So imagine if someone takes a risk and then they get punished because it didn't work out. You're not going to have innovation come out of that. And with the right environment, then it's about having the right culture, as you said, to foster that. And what really is culture? It's a set of attitudes and beliefs that perpetuate in the company and show up in every moment. And at Ripple, that's something we try to be really intentional about. So it sounds kind of cheesy, but we have our Legos values. And these values are reinstated every day, and every employee is supposed to adhere to them. And we celebrate people and give awards that really embody the way of being, and it really is about the leaders to set an example of living these values, and then with that environment, naturally, innovation will flourish.
Yeah, and I think that's why we differ so much from corporate environments, because there you're expected to get it right the first time, and we all know that if you're going to be innovating, it's really hard to do that. And so that's why I think that we thrive and they thrive a little less, even though they have more money. Anyway, so Lani, I'm very interested in your advancement. I'm wondering if you could share how that came to be and how you got to where you are and the steps you took to get there.
Yeah, so my experience all started in medicine, and I got into medicine because my father, he passed away at when I was 12 years old. He was only 43. He was a Navy officer, and that really changed my life. And when he passed away, I said, I want to do something to really help people. I got a really big heart and I'm a really big nurturer. And so I got into medicine. When I got into medicine, I realized that my limits, I had too many limits where I couldn't really help people. It was all about prescription medication. So I transitioned into natural nutrition. And in natural nutrition, I absolutely flourished in that. And then I got into a company where I was sharing it, and I built an organization of over 120,000 people without any sales experience. And this is pre-internet. This is when there was pagers and fax machines.
Pagers? Fax machine? Amazing. Wow.
So I'm really dating myself. Because this is over 30
We're gonna
years ago.
drop your beauty secrets.
And so then after my natural nutrition, then I said, you know what? I think these products could be better. So I started working with scientists and formulators, and I started developing my own product line. So I have my own skincare line, beauty line, wellness line, and then I started creating companies. I added to these these wellness companies, entrepreneurial opportunities, because this really changed my life. So I started uplifting people and focusing on people empowerment, freedom, autonomy. How could I do that? So then I built an organization. I started in America, went to Japan and all over Asia, and built an organization of people, affiliates of over 350,000 people.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
some of
That's
them,
really good.
actually a couple of them that were here with me since over 20 years ago are here today. For example, this lady right here
Excellent.
has built
Excellent.
huge organizations. So
I'm
I
gonna
have
move this
really
along a little bit.
okay. So I've really helped a lot of people. But then what happened was this personal empowerment and autonomy. I discovered in 2011 Bitcoin. And then that's when I said, wow, this is amazing. There's so many similarities to what I'm already doing. And so Bitcoin had the same similarities. And this is when I saw all the challenges that were going on in Bitcoin, which is lack of simplicity, lack of usability. And this is why we're building the Rio project for the masses, to focus on the average people, non-tech people, with an ecosystem for daily use.
It's amazing. I feel like this needs to be like a TED Talk. Yes. Right? I'm thinking so. So one of the things, as Lani was talking, I'm really thinking about here is the state of women in Web3. And I just wanted to hear, Pega, Shanna, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. For me, the Web3 space is a leveler. It levels the playing field. I mean, we can't go into into a room with our colleagues and think they know more, because the space is so new. And so there's always new innovations happening. So you know as much as the next person. And so for me, Web3 is levels the playing field. And I think that will allow more women to get into the space, because the information is easily accessible. So, yeah.
And what do you think about that, Pega?
Well, I think it's improving, but women are very underrepresented. You don't really need to reach far and wide to find examples of that. I think one of the most jaw-dropping stats is if you think of the 50 leading crypto companies, only 3 of them have CEOs that are women. Even if you think off the top of your head of CEOs in Web3, how hard is it to think of women in that space? It shows up in other spaces too. One, kudos to this conference and ETHWomen for having representation, because a lot of places don't. The recent Bitcoin conference in Nashville, I think, had less than 10% women speakers. I think an interesting stat was there were more men speakers whose names started with A and B than there were women speakers in
Are
total.
you serious? Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on. Can you say that one more time? And can someone record this? Because I know the president of Bitcoin Magazine, and he's about to get a video from me. Can you say that one more time, please? Because that's crazy.
There were more men speakers whose names started with A and B than women speakers in total at that conference.
Oh, Mike, we got to talk about that. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
that tells you a little bit about the state of women in crypto. There are positive nuggets, though. One stat recently done by Pantera showed that on a median salary basis in crypto, women were actually earning 15% more. And I don't really know the methodology, but what's super exciting to me about that is that we always say, yes, it's women are underrepresented in crypto, but so are they in tech and finance and fintech. And there's no need for us to follow the trend. Crypto is always about breaking barriers and leapfrogging, and this is another place where we can do that. And yeah, the representation is super important.
I'm so sorry. Did you just say that women are earning 15% more?
Yeah, reverse gender
come on,
gap.
guys. Can we get a... Okay, right?
Well, I'd like
We
to,
feel seen and heard. Yay. We just need more of us. We need more.
I just want to add to that when you work for a company that is looking at just the market value of the skill versus looking at it from a gender perspective, then women are treated in that band, which is almost, I want to say equally, but that's a bit of a, but it will be treated in the band of the skill, and I'd look at you as the gender for the role.
That's amazing. And I'm wondering, do you ladies have any stories about breaking through the glass ceiling? And if you do, we'd all love to hear that.
Yes, so everything that I've done, I mean, I've had barriers all my life. In building entrepreneurial opportunities, starting at only 19 years old, and then transitioning, building my companies and expanding it to Japan, a foreign country where it's male driven, and a woman, and starting women empowerment groups in Japan and around the world, where men are wondering, hey, what is this? We would have these closed door meetings with women, and the men would want to come in and say, what are you guys talking about? So there's all these barriers. Even to blockchain, to crypto. And so that's a huge barrier that I had to create this ecosystem, for daily use. What we have created is a digital wallet that is so simple for everyone to use, and a global mall for daily use that has all clothes, massages, nail salons, merchant services, bags,
Nice.
shoes, all of those things. So that alone, and then I got the barriers of the Japan regulations, which is the strictest in the world, and us women, we have the barriers, we feel like we have the barriers of being women, but to tell you the truth, I look at it different. We don't have barriers. We have barriers, but this space is wide open. And what that means is there's more opportunity for us to stand up and do something in this industry and help set the DNA. I didn't come from this industry. I came from the wellness industry, marketing industry. But what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the holes, the needs of people in this industry. And that, I think, is going to be really important because, there's a lot of women that want to come to events like this. The reality is they're intimidated. It's complicated, and we're not catering to the average person. And so that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on people taking it down to the average people so that they don't have to think about the technology behind crypto. They could just simply use it.
Okay. That's really good. That's really good. Oh, I love this. This is really good. You've got some good cheerleaders. Very nice. Very nice. That's really good. Yeah. Does anyone else have any?
I'd just like to say that, in certain cultures, women and boys and girls are treated differently, so you always have to kind of fight for your voice to be heard. But my strategy over the past 30 years has not been to put a light on, oh, there's no women in the industry, is for me to upskill myself and then share the skills that I find, join the groups, make sure that whatever I've learned, I can share and empower others, and so that they don't have to figure it out for themselves. And that's been my strategy and continues to be my strategy.
Excellent. Anything?
For me, the glass ceiling is funny because it's invisible. And when I was younger in my career, I was like, when is my head going to hit it so then I can break it? But it's not this big thing that's going to be like, oh, here I am. Now you can pass me. It's every day in little moments and then you're left wondering. So it can be in a meeting where your voice is not heard, or applying for a job but you don't get it because you don't fit the stereotype of what a leader is supposed to look like. And you're left wondering, was it me? Is it my skill set? Is there bias? Like, what is happening? And that confusion and self-doubt. And then you take a step back and you're like, all right, it's in the numbers. There is real bias here. And breaking it is not one person's job, but it's all of us. So for me, it's always been really important to surround myself with people that will help me on that journey. And that's been a critical piece of why I joined places like Ripple and the Web3 industry. The president of our company, Monica Long, she runs the whole business. We're almost 1,000-person company with billions of dollars, and it's been really inspiring to watch someone like that grow in the industry, and we do that a lot for women, so they can act as role models for other women as well to succeed.
When I first got started in this industry, thank you, Amber, once again, we would have meetups, and it would be 500 people in the room, and there would be 5 women. It'd be me, Amber, Nancy, Tracy, and I think Jenna. And let me tell you, it was really interesting. I've got some really great pictures from back then. And what I learned is that you could sort of be like, okay, I'm like, I can choose not to be seen, or you could be like me and wear bright colors so you will see me. And then I made it my mission to make sure that I learned as much as I possibly could so that when people spoke to me, I knew what I was talking about and I came off as sounding, fairly smart. And then I moved into the mining industry, and that was even worse. That's like 98% men and then 2% of women. And that one, I'm really hitting the glass ceiling as I go. But then sometimes I'm going to tell you, honestly, you do need a champion who is a man who can help you sometimes, because I'm doing my thing, and I've been in this industry a lot longer than the average person in mining. And then I got asked to host to run the Bitcoin Core Developer Summit. We're trying to get more Bitcoin Core developers, and suddenly I'm the woman that's telling all these male CEOs, well, here's what we need doing, and it's really quite interesting. So I love that we're doing this, and we do continue to hit the glass ceiling, but sometimes, I'm not going to kid you, you do need a champion that can help you who is a man. So men, we need you. We're just trying to tell you that also. And so I'm curious, ladies, can you share with me any experiences that you've learned in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so I think that my biggest experience or my lesson is that we need to focus on people first. We need to focus on people's needs. So, for example, in my wellness companies, what people wanted was products that did what they said they were going to do. Results-oriented products that were simple and that were convenient. And that's what we gave them. And I think that's the reason why we've been so successful with our wellness products. Now, in the crypto space with the RioCoin project, the need is to be able to use crypto without thinking about the technology from behind. What we need to do is we need to focus on not leading with technology, which is what we have been doing. We've been leading with technology, but we really need to lead with high touch first, with people first, with people's needs first. And what the people's needs are is to be able to use products and services, crypto, without thinking about the technology. For example, Visa, MasterCard, Venmo, Tesla, Apple. You don't need to understand the technology behind any of those things in order to use it. But for some reason in crypto, people are having to understand the technology before they even invest in crypto.
You're 1,000% right.
Exactly, which is causing so much complication for people. So we need to bring it down to the average person, non-tech savvy people, and that is what we need to focus on, is helping them to see and feel and experience the benefits of crypto, of blockchain, and see how it's going to advance their lives. And that's what's missing, just like in Web 1. In Web 1, people couldn't fathom what Web 2 was going to bring. And that's what's happening right now, is history's repeating itself, is people don't understand the importance of Web 3 because it's too complicated.
Excellent. So, Pega, do you have anything else to add, my friend?
I think the usability point is a great one, and I'll just round it out that people don't want a PhD in crypto, but they want access to crypto. And we use a lot of jargon in this industry that's a barrier to entry. And there's a lot more simple ways we can say things, but we want to create new terms and language for everything, which can be part of a cool exclusive club, but it's really a barrier and it's not inclusive to bringing more people in the fold.
I completely agree with all of that. I'm thinking there should be not necessarily a TED Talk, but a discussion about how we're so smart that we have to use all these terms and jargons, and really the average person doesn't need to understand it, and so just stop doing it. Right. Yeah. Shanna.
The other thing that we don't focus on at the beginning when we're starting, when we've just created our product, is we're so in love with our product. We try to get it to that perfect state, but knowing that there is no such thing as a perfect first product. Your first product is always going to be a lesser version of what you imagine it to be. So ship it fast, and get the consumers' feedback. Let them tell you what's working and what's not working. And then the other thing is, we tend not to focus on the revenue. We want to give away the product because we want them to use it, but we're not at the same time trying to figure out that revenue model of how we're going to make the money. Because at the end of the day, if you've got investors, they are going to expect to see a return. And if you put money in yourself, you need to get that money back. So, work on the revenue model from the get-go and ship your product fast.
Okay, excellent. I have so many questions. And ladies, we all need to have a luncheon. I have so many questions for all of you. Oh my God. Anyways, so I'm curious. Getting into our last question, I'm going to do it this way. Starting with you, Shannon, because this is a question I know you wanted to ask. Okay. What are your predictions for future trends in the industry?
I love this question. First of all, because I'm in the blockchain infrastructure and staking space, ETH staking and Bitcoin staking is a trend that we're seeing. For me, the blockchain being in the underlying backbone of everything that we'll be using and everyday utility, that's what we're going to see. And then, of course, getting to understand how we can tokenize and make blockchain more accessible to everyone. I think the final thing is, for me, blockchain infrastructure, it's going to be embedded in everything, and you won't even know it's there. And so how we make people see that it has that utility is going to be quite important.
Excellent, thank you. Pega.
Yeah, along the same vein. So as I mentioned at Ripple, we provide infrastructure services that let institutions store, tokenize, move value, and go on and off ramps, so into and out of crypto. And we're seeing a lot of banks and institutions enter the space, and because of the tokenization future. So we see huge opportunity in real world asset tokenization. We've already seen the likes of BlackRock enter the space, HSBC, others. So starting with money market funds, we had other panelists talk about real estate tokenization, but there's trillions and trillions and trillions of assets that can and will be tokenized in the decade to come. So that's what I'm super excited about for the next trillions in crypto.
Nice, thank you. Lonnie.
Yeah, so I would say that the most important thing right now, as far as the next step, would be having user interfaces that are simple, that are familiar, that people can use and understand. And just like, I always say this, just like Hotmail and Facebook, when they came along, it wasn't until they came along and they had the simple user interfaces where people wanted to get on, and from the young to the old, right? It really changed the world where people were getting on because they wanted to. And that is what we need to do, is we need to have simple user interfaces. And this is the reason why what I did is I worked with my developers and I added my female flair to the user interfaces to make sure they were as simple and familiar as possible so that the learning curve is almost nothing. They would already know when they get on their Life Wallet, which is our proprietary Life Wallet, it's as simple as getting on to your bank account, or as simple as getting on to social media. And the Global Mall is a dynamic global mall e-commerce site where it's so simple to use. So that is the most important thing, is we need to bring things down to everyone. And that is our focus at Rio, is everyone.
Excellent. So everyone, this is your chance. You have questions you can ask these ladies. We have a few minutes. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? Christine, shout out to, I like that you're wearing a bright color. You've been listening to me, I guess.
Yeah. I learned from the best. Hey, everyone, thank you. This actually question is for Ripple, Vega. I just have a quick question. In regards to the career field, I noticed that Ripple hasn't really been hiring within the Canadian field. Do you have any insight on that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question isn't tailored towards Ripple. So anytime I've looked on their career sites or anything, I've noticed that they haven't had any openings for Canadians specifically. Is there any insight as to why or when that will be expanding?
Well, we actually have a huge office in Toronto that I was in yesterday. I think we have maybe 50, 60. We opened it recently, and as we entered the Canadian space. So I'm actually Canadian myself. Okay. So we have a ton of Canadians and a huge presence in Toronto, and always looking at opportunities to have talent. A lot of our focus, especially in the last 4 years, has been growing globally. We have a ton of employees everywhere, including Canada. It is one of our biggest offices out of the 9 offices we have globally.
I did not know that. Okay, that's news to me too, and I thought I knew a lot. So okay. Yeah. Any additional questions? Anyone? Yes. Oh.
You said that women were making 15% more in crypto. Any ideas what would cause that?
So I don't know the methodology of that study, but anecdotally, I think what I have seen is that there's a lot of women that, maybe loyalty is the word, but that have stayed, that have entered crypto early and not necessarily with the booms and busts that kind of determine low or high salary. And it's an industry that I think the longer you stay, the more accretive your salary will become, versus if you're the type of person that comes in the summer, leaves in the winter, where you don't have as much compensation.
That's true. I've been here since 2016. I wear a lot of products, people. That's why I look so young, but damn. There's a lot of gray hair under here. Anyway.
I'd also like to add that it depends on your skill set and your tenure. I'm not going to, let's use the word
She just called me old. That's okay.
tenure. I've been in the industry for 30 years, but it's definitely that skill set. So if you have a very diverse skill set, not only around the technology, but around understanding the business needs, I think that also adds to you finding a role that might pay a little bit more than you used to.
That's true. Skill set is everything.
So I just wanted to mention that as far as adoption is concerned, we really focused on education, on blockchain and crypto awareness throughout Japan. And so we have well over 100,000 followers now in Japan. And a lot of them have come from these individuals here too, because they have really helped, especially the women. And I have to say that we are minimum 50% women and 50% men. So
Nice
both
parity,
in our
thank you.
wellness companies,
Yeah.
as well as in our crypto project too, Real Coin.
Okay, that's really good. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed this. And I'm thinking we really need to do a lunch because I have so many more questions. But anyway, thank you, ladies, so much. I really appreciate your time. And that's everything. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.